I'm Rachel, and today on Crack Your Bible, I need to talk to you guys about something more politically minded, but is completely applicable to Christians right now. And that is, today is August 16th, and Congress is talking about possibly censuring President Trump because of his response to the protest in Charlottesville. And I want to talk about what would God think about what President Trump said. So, for those who aren't Americans, this is completely applicable to all Christians. I'm gonna bring it back in, so don't leave right now. But so here's kind of the background story. So there is a monument in Virginia to General Robert E. Lee. Now, he was a general for our Civil War, which happened back in the 1860s, and two sides were going at it. So people are saying, let's take down this statue of Robert E. Lee because of everything he represents. Well, that's kind of changing history, because there's quite a lot of leaders who have slaves, and there's even current leaders today who have slaves. Usually it's Africa, the Middle East, things like that. But yes, slavery still exists. So one side is saying, let's not change history. This is still an important piece of our American history. Let's keep the statue up. They got a permit to protest taking down the statue. And then you had groups who are racist, such as the KKK or the white nationalists, who say, being white is everything, this is very important, and everybody else who isn't white is supposedly a bad person. And then they go out and march. Now, is everybody who's marching a white supremacist or a Nazi? No, some people want to keep the statue because they don't want to rewrite history. So even though they're both protesting together, you can't lump them both together and say everybody's a white nationalist or everyone's a Nazi. In the United States, we do have free speech, so even things that are unsavory or rude are considered protected speech. And we should want this as Christians. We want to be able to be in the minority and still have the right to speak our minds without fear of retribution. Well, there is a group called Antifa, and they are very violent. They are a terrorist organization here in the United States. They say that every dead Republican is just one more step to their goal. They say that they need to use any means necessary, and they want to go even farther than this book, which is used by the left. It's called Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky, and it is dedicated to Satan. Here, let me... What's so ridiculous is that the KKK and Antifa both come from the same sides. They both come from the left, and there's not one side that's bad and one side that's good, left, right, whatever. I mean, they both have their negative and their positive attributes. But when it comes to Antifa and the KKK, they both come out of the Democrats. They both come out of the left side. And in the South, during the Civil War times, you had Democrats that wanted to keep slavery because it was financially better for them, because, hey, you make more profit when you have slaves working for you than people who actually require a salary. So the Democrats, they wanted to keep their slaves, whereas the Republican North, Abraham Lincoln, they said, you need to pay people. So they wanted to get rid of slavery so that they could have an economy that competes in trade. So you have racists on the left, and then you have even more racists on the left. So one side is all white people are bad, and one side is everybody but white people are bad. So all they care about is race, 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 race. And then the other side of the coin is people that say, that's pretty much irrelevant. Your race isn't what defines who you are. And as Christians, that's how we should be, because there's neither Jew nor Greek, male nor female, slave nor free, for we are all one in Christ Jesus. It does not matter what our skin color looks like. It doesn't matter the amount of money that we have. It doesn't matter who our ancestors were, because we are all one in Christ Jesus. We are that opposite side of the coin where we say those things don't matter. That's not what makes us who we are. What makes us who we are is what God says we are. Not our skin color, not our race, not our jobs, not our social standing. It's all about Jesus. The other side of the coin says how you look is the only thing that matters. And if you don't look like me, whether you're KKK or you're Antifa or Black Lives Matter or any of these other groups, they're the other side of the coin. And we don't care about worldly culture. We should care about God's culture, and that's all that matters. So anyway, we have Antifa, and then we have the people who want historical sites preserved, and then you have the white nationalists that they want to kick everybody out who's not white, and then you have Antifa who wants to kick everybody who is white out. So you have two sets of racist groups, and then you have like the historical people over here as well. Did Antifa have a permit? No. What were they doing? They were throwing rocks, they were throwing bottles. At other events, they throw Molotov cocktails, they riot, they destroy property, they destroy cities, they destroy university campuses, because they want to limit free speech or any sort of dissenting speech that goes against what they have to say. So, what happens? One of the white nationalists runs his car over a bunch of people who are from Antifa or who are protesting the KKK in general, but they don't have a permit to be there. So they are provoking these people to anger, but you, regardless if you're provoked to anger or not, you don't have a right to murder people. Now we're at the point where people want to censure Donald Trump, because what did he do? When this whole rigmarole took place, we didn't have all the information. So he makes a general statement about how he condemns all of the violence that is happening, not just from one side, but from both sides, because violence is happening on both sides. You have people shouting at other people, throwing rocks, throwing bottles, hitting, fighting, whatever, on both sides. Therefore, you have to condemn both sides. Now you have the media, and then you also have politicians saying we need to censure President Trump, and a censure is basically where you condemn the president, even though he's part of your own political party. And this is like the heart of what I want to get to in this video, because once more information came out and people were charged with crimes and things like that, then Donald Trump came out and he condemned white nationalists, the KKK, etc. That's fine. But to say that we need to censure him because he's saying both sides were violent is an issue. And I see this more and more in even the Christian community. I've dealt with it even on my own comment section, because I see people, they want blind loyalty. Don't ask me what happened. You should support me no matter what. You should support my view of events without getting the other side. And the Bible is very strict. Do not pervert justice. And when you don't listen to all the facts and you're making a judgment, you are perverting justice. You are showing partiality. And in a free society, we cannot show partiality. We can't say, I don't like what you have to say, therefore people are allowed to throw Molotov cocktails at you. Therefore, nobody should say anything about the fact that you're throwing rocks or trying to hurt police or provoking mobs. No, you can't do that. That would be a perversion of justice. So to say, now, whether or not you like Donald Trump or not, you cannot pervert justice. You can't say, well, I don't really like him, so therefore it's okay to censure him or accuse him falsely or whatever. As a Christian, you cannot do this. It doesn't matter if it was Donald Trump. It doesn't matter if it was Barack Obama. It doesn't matter if it was Hillary Clinton. It doesn't matter if it's Saddam Hussein. Does not matter. You cannot pervert justice. What I see today is that people want blind loyalty. You need to accept or be on my side no matter what. Don't listen to the facts. Don't ask me for the facts so that you can make an informed decision. No, you need to condemn these people because I don't like them. That is a perversion of justice. You cannot be like that. And every single person who says, before you get the facts, you need to condemn this side or that side, is wrong. They are wrong. They want to pervert justice for their own personal gain. They have an agenda. You cannot be like this. Do not support people who want you to make a decision or to decry one group over the other before you have the facts. Throughout the Bible, we have do not pervert justice, do not pervert justice, do not pervert justice. Consider, 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 consider. Considering requires you taking in the facts or the testimonies from both sides and then making a judgment. And that's what smart people do. God loves people who love wisdom. And it is unwise to make a quick judgment and then be shown wrong. By not calling out both sides, you're saying that one side is blameless. And number one, they didn't have a permit. And number two, being violent is not okay. You can't say, I don't like what you have to say, so I'm going to throw rocks at you. I don't like what you stand for, so I'm going to hit you. Or I'm going to throw a Molotov cocktail at you. That is completely out of control, and God would never support such a thing. You don't get to provoke people to violence just because you don't like what they have to say, because they have a dissenting opinion. You can't say, I don't like what you have to say, so I'm going to assault you. You have to make a stand and say, assault, no matter what side, is wrong. You don't get to abuse people because you don't like what they have to say. And even if it's distasteful, people have a right to say whatever is on their mind. Now, murdering people, that's a separate issue. We condemn that. But to say that President Trump is wrong because he condemns both sides is a perversion of justice, and God would never stand for that. God always tells you to consider the facts. Don't make snap judgments. Don't pervert justice for the poor because they're poor. Don't pervert justice for the alien because they're the alien, foreigner. Don't pervert justice against somebody because they're rich. Don't pervert justice for somebody because they're rich. You need to be impartial and you need to speak rightly. And so many people want to jump and make a quick decision. They want to say their opinion without listening to the facts. I get it on my videos all the time. Oh, I can't believe you said this. And then I won't approve them, but I will say, like, did you even watch the video? Because if you had listened to the whole video instead of you're so quick to want to say your opinion without listening to the facts and make a snap judgment, you would have seen that I actually agreed with you, or that I actually said the verses that you said in support of the argument that you're making right now. But you're so quick to want to say your opinion or to decry one side over the other that you're making snap judgments without all the facts, and it makes you look like a fool. And that's what the Bible warns against. Don't be like a fool, because it is unprofitable, and do not pervert justice. You need to be able to pick out the facts, and it's getting harder and harder because the media is so emotional and they have such an agenda where you don't have to like or dislike Trump at all, but you do need to listen to both sides and then make a judgment. Do not be suckered in to making snap judgments because one side or another has an agenda. You need to be impartial and you need to listen to the facts. You need to listen to both sides before you start making snap judgments. So as Christians, that is my My hope and my prayer is that Christians start using discernment instead of acting like the world where it's, you need to support me no matter what, don't get the facts, make snap judgments so that I can have blind loyalty, because that is a perversion of justice, and God is a God of justice, and we need to be like him. So that's just something that I wanted to share with you. I hope you will like, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.